Uh-oh. What's going on, you finger lickers? Nick Daniels here. That was the worst intro to, I think, my videos I've ever had. Nick Daniels here, coming at you live, man, yet again. I got a day fill for you, so without any further ado, let's get right into it. As I know everybody just loves hearing these stories, especially in person. For some reason, you guys are just addicts. I'll go around to my local events and stuff like that. My God, man. Everybody gathers around me like a circle, like it's story time. So this is a little quicker, but it was a recent one, a little recent. Anyway, so I talked to this girl at Hinge though. So she's not actually from Canada, she's from another country, but she's hanging out here. She seems to like it. She's been here a little while. I was like, okay, cool, easy to work with. And so we got to talking, and like I said, I think overall, I'll be honest, I don't think the chat was really all that great. And that's a big insight, but I don't like reading into it too much, because you're messaging. Not a lot of people are big texters, and it depends, right? I don't know what necessarily makes a great texter with online dating. I mean, I can guesstimate, but I can't give you a straight answer. But I mean, I could say okay, uses emojis. Not necessarily. Some people hate them. But I think just being inquisitive, and giving decent responses, something that's a little more well-crafted, and has more than just how was your weekend? Great. Okay, great. But give me something to work with, something like that. We got two people coming. One sec here. We're gonna mess with the camera. Oh, that's too high. Dude, I don't even know what that chick was wearing. Looks like she had some fucking school uniform on. I don't even know what's going on. Bunch of geese over there. What do you call them? Gooses. Gooses. All right, I think that's good. Man, that looks great. I just don't want to be in too low or too high. I think that's good. That looks fine. All right, well, we might have to adjust that again. Okay, anyway. So like I was saying, oh yeah, Saltmarsh Trail, by the way, if you're wondering where I am. Saltmarsh Trail, Canada, Nova Scotia. So anyway, we text a little bit. I'm like, okay, whatever. You know what? I'm gonna line something up. I don't know if I'm really too much into the texting with her. So we lined something up, and it was very close. It was 2 days away or something like that. Okay, so cool. So anyway, so we lined up the date, and I was like, okay, cool. Let's do this. So I said something local to me. Now, it's funny that I say that, but it's it was very local. It was 2 streets over local. And one of the reasons I do that is it's just if I have a bad inkling that it's not gonna go well, I can get out of there kind of easily. I can literally walk home. Now, I'm not gonna say that, but I'm gonna just walk home. I don't have to make it a big deal to go get to the car and get the hell out of there and then go drive for 20 minutes. No, I want to make it conveniently close or closer. And she unfortunately did drive a little bit to get there. Again, 20 minutes less, 15, something like that. So I'm just trying to preface the date so you can get an idea of what's going on. So anyway, we meet at this, we just meet at a pub, and they've got some cider on the menu and stuff like that. There, look. I don't even know if you could see that. You probably didn't. A couple birds flying. But anyway, so yeah, we go to this bar. They've got some ciders and stuff on the menu. Couple IPAs, couple things like that. It was funny too when I originally was I texted an idea. I was like, hey, how do you feel about this place? I like to do that. I like to say, what do you think? And I think it's a great idea. She she's immediately she's like, I'm not a fan of beer. I was like, okay, you're not giving me a lot to work with. That's the problem. I'm trying to be very open here and get some ideas going. And I was the first thing you respond with is, I don't like beer. Okay, what do you like? Well, again, this place had a few cider options. That'll work. So anyway, so I go in, I get the first table by the door. I'm not looking to the door. That might have been a mistake. I think that's a good idea though. You're near the door, you're looking at the door, you're facing the door, and they can see you, right? They see you, right? They know who you, they can recognize you, So anyway, so I go, like I said, I go to this establishment, I take a seat, I'm just chilling. Buddy comes over, asking me if I want a drink or something. I was like, give me a second here, and I'm meeting someone, right? So I don't know, give it a few minutes. I probably wasn't there very long. Actually, I think I had an order. I think I did order a cider first. Or a drink first. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I think, because you're just sipping a beer, right, before the inedible happens. Now we got some people here. We're gonna do a quick cut and we're gonna come right back. And there's some ducklings down here I want a photo of, so give me a second here. All right, what up, you fiddlers? Sorry about that. We saw some baby ducklings on the right there, and I got a video of them and some photos. If I remember, probably won't. I'll add it to the video so you can see what I'm talking about. They were cute. Anyway, so like I was saying with the date fail, so sat down, I was looking into the bar, not at the door. Now, I got a message on Hinge. It's where I was talking to this lady. Hadn't had her number yet. I don't actually mind doing that. It's kind of been one of my new approaches. I just don't ask for the phone number. We're already talking on an app. We can just keep talking on the app. If you don't move though, like, you definitely got to make a move on apps. I think I've called it before, called pulling the trigger. And you do have to make some kind of move. So whether that be getting a phone number, an Instagram, like something a little bit more personal rather than just, you know, a match on the app, right? So anyway, so like I said, so I get a message, I get a ding, and it's funny because I saw her. I turned around before she even messaged me. And I was like looking at the door a few times just in case. And sure enough, she came in there. I recognized her. She just was like standing at the door. And it's really awkward when that stuff happens because you can tell it's her. Like, you can tell your date is there, but it's like you're not walking in. You know, you're not walking into the establishment. And they might even like look at you and be like, okay, this is weird because I'm looking at you, I see you, but you're not coming in. And then you're gonna text me like I'm here. So what I did is I didn't even look at my phone. I already knew she texted me. I just kept looking at her until she looked up, and then I was like, I gave her like a wave, right? Like, be like, hey, like it's your boy, Nikki D. So anyway, so she comes on in, no problem, nothing wrong with that. In the first probably 2 minutes, not always, but sometimes, really makes a big deal, you know, in my opinion. It really shows what's going to happen. You can tell right away, like, is someone really awkward? Are they going to come in and be a little chatty? Like, you know, I think a lot of people get really awkward with dates from online because you've never met before, right? You don't really know what this person looks like except for like a couple pictures. So anyway, so it's like, all right, cool. Like, you know, she'll come in, whatever. So she comes on in, you know, and I usually open up with something kind of cheesy, but I'm just like, hey, like, you know, good to see you, or something like that, you know, just something, you know, like, hey, how's it going? Like, I like to, you know, I do like to say, like, hey, like, you know, great to see you, great to meet you know, something like that, right? Because we've talked for, you know, I don't know, a few days, like a week, whatever. I don't remember the exact response, but I could already tell it was going to be a drag. Because unfortunately, I don't talk about good dates on this channel. We only talk about the ones that really don't go well. And it's rather unfortunate, but that's what people seem to like to hear, so that's what you get. We're going to just give you a look off here, and we're going to keep going, but we'll give you the look off here. Like, check this out. Yeah, look at that. Very nice. Very nice. That's the thing with these date fails too. Like, if I can give you a date fail in like a nice looking location, then that's awesome. Now, I apologize if the brightness is too high, but unfortunately with the auto mode on this Pocket, I just find it'll go a little too dark sometimes, you know? Or a little like too bright or whatever. So I'm trying to get like a happy median, like, you know, something right in the middle, but I think she'll be okay. I think she'll be okay. So don't mind it. That's all I'm saying. So anyway, so like I was saying, so she comes on in. The first conversation, the first probably minute or two, is pretty awkward. There's not much going back and forth. And the plan was I was just going to go get a drink with her, right? I think it's a very, very casual first date. In my opinion, I think, could be wrong, I think women like casual on a first date because it's less intense, you know? You want something that might not be as forward. You know, like dinner is can be a little bit like, I don't know, I wouldn't say intense. It's a bit formal. You want a little less formal. And I think a drink has a good opportunity because if you, let's say you're enjoying yourself, very much so, you can get that dinner, right? Most places, most pubs have food. So in my opinion, it's a bit of a win. And you don't have to go for one drink. If I'm having a great time, I might get a second one. Right? Because that's just how that goes. You extend, right? You extend into, okay, we're going to be here a little bit longer. And if it's not going so great, you might only order one, right? You might just get a single beer, call it a night. Now, in this situation, like I said, I was kind of just lightly sipping a cider. So she gets a drink. I actually thought about one of those, like a flight. you know, where you get like 4, right? You get 4 little drinks, right? Like basically like a shot glass and a half. But then I was like, well, how long are we going to be here? You know? And especially off the hop, I was like, you know, from that initial conversation bit, I was like, not going to happen. So had to drink. And what I did is I tried to match what she was doing. Now we got 2 people coming. So as usual, I'm going to probably kill the camera for about 2 seconds here. And we'll let her go. It's going to be a long video. I'm very sorry about this, but that's how it is. All right, bear with me. All right, again, sorry about that. We'll try to wrap it up. It won't be too much longer, I promise. It's just, they always turn out to be way longer than I want these videos to be, but you know how it is. So like I was saying, so I get the drink, I match her speed, okay? That's a big thing. So I want to see how fast she's going through her drink, and it can kind of tell you how bad the date's going. If she's sipping through that drink really, really quickly, like almost everything she says, she immediately drinks right after it, it's not going well. And that's what she was doing. So I already knew it wasn't going well. And a big problem with this date, probably the biggest problem, she seemed like a fine person. Obviously I'm not going to give you more than that. Like as in like details anyway, that's all you get. But a big thing was I did all the question asking, you know, I did everything. And it really shows how a conversation can be completely one-sided. And I know I'm not alone there. It's women and men that will have these difficulties. You know, I can talk a lot, but I can listen. You know, I don't mind sitting there and listening, you know. And it shocks people to hear that because they're like, wow, like you talk so much. But it's like, yeah, well, you know, I have good conversational skills in my opinion because I can actually shut the fuck up and listen for 2 seconds. But I also can like ask questions, and I don't ask like open-ended. I ask open-ended. I was going to say I don't ask open-ended questions. I ask open-ended questions. I try to get you to say something, you know. Rather than like do like cats and you just be like, yes, I'd be like, oh, okay, like, you know, like, oh, you have some cats, like, you know, like, when did you get them? And there's an answer, right? Like, sometimes you will just get like the basic, like, whatever. But it was just very unfortunate that, you know, and I should have saw it coming, and I kind of did, but I played it because I was like, why not, right? I kind of played into the trap card because it just like, again, why not? So anyway, she was doing some traveling and stuff like that. You know, like I think now actually. And I was like, oh, like right on, like good for you, you know. And then she'd be like, yep. And I'd be like, okay, so like that, you know, it just ends. So I'd have to constantly like try to pick it up. I was like giving her information. I'd be like, so this is what I do, you know, just to see if she would bite, you know. Nothing, you know. And it's just a huge waste of time. Like, I'm trying to be as respectful as possible, but it's like, dude, like, just end it. Just be like, hey, listen, I'm not really feeling it. You know, if you want to head out, I don't blame you. Like, I'll just finish my drink and I'm gonna go. I would have rathered that, you know. So anyway, we finished our drinks. Waitress came by. She was pretty quick onto it. She was like, hey, like, do you guys want a refill? I said, listen, I think actually we'll probably just grab the bill if you don't mind, or like split it. Ain't doing that. I think on a first date, if you're trying, I don't know, it sounds funny, like if I'm trying to impress, I don't think there's anything wrong with grabbing the bill. And I like when a woman will actually be like, hey, like you got that drink, I'll get the movie on our next date, if there's a next date. And I think I'm into that. I'm really into that. Because it shows like how it's not necessarily so old-fashioned anymore. For some reason, I got dislikes on that video when I was like, hey, like paying on the first date, and I made some comments. I guess some old feminist didn't like that. I was like, dude, like, what's wrong with that? Like, do you want an independent partner? Then yeah, like, I don't think there's anything wrong with, I don't have to pamper them every day. Like, and that's in the same sense. It's like, I didn't look at it like necessarily a bad thing that I split that bill. I didn't look at it as a good thing either. I wasn't paying for that. You know, it's like $8. I ain't doing it. Coffee's a little different. So that's why I joke about that. And people like tried to thrash me one time online on some comment or something I made. And I said a coffee date I don't think is a bad date when it comes to online dating. You get to see who the person is. It's inexpensive for both parties. It's very casual. It's like a layup to a date. Like, it's not a date, it's like a half a date. Because if it goes well, then you might ask her for dinner, right? And you spend like $4, you know? But like I said, it was a struggle. My friend asked me how the date went after, and the only response I gave her was that it was 53 minutes. I timed it. Because it was kind of like on the hour, you know? So like, for example, I would have arrived at like 7, and I was like, okay, it's 7:53, you know. So it's like I didn't sit there with a stopwatch, but I knew instinctively that it was less than an hour. So once we had got out of there, it was even pretty awkward leaving, you know. And it was like, I'm not gonna lie to you, I don't try any move on a first date, and there's a good reason. It's because if there's no connection, I'm not wasting the time. Like, it's just awkward. Like, I'm not gonna try to kiss you on a first date and then you ghost me. Like, it's just, that's weird. So like, if you're into me and you want to have a second date and I'm into you, then I don't see anything wrong with that. But if it's not made explicitly clear through some kind of body language or communication, I'm not going to bother. Because it's like right after this date too, it was the same idea, right? Like, it was a mutual, like, I'm not into it. And it's something I've learned, to try to wrap up the video here, it's something I've learned, and I think is very respectful. And maybe it's just now being 29. 29 2 weeks ago, by the way. Very exciting. No, I'm kidding. It's fucking stupid. Just gonna die sooner. Now, it's something sorry, I keep doing that because there's like a bicyclist or something. It's just weird. That I do now. So when I talk to someone, let's say on Hinge, and there was this other girl, the same kind of idea. She wasn't asking any questions, whatever. I just ghosted her. And the reason why is because I haven't met her, right? But if I meet you, if I take the time to go meet you and you take the time to meet me, I think I owe you the courtesy, or you owe me the courtesy, of at least texting the other person and being like, hey, I'm not feeling it. And I think it's very respectful. I did that with someone at speed dating. I had technically met them at speed dating, but I wasn't feeling it. So I just said, listen, you know, not trying to be a douche, but I'm not into it, you know, in a nicer way, obviously. And she was very mutual. And which was good, because it's always like an adult conversation, right? And it was the same as this one. I had texted her the next day, and I was like, listen, like, I hope you enjoy your trip, like she was vacationing somewhere. But I was like, listen, I'd rather just tell you now, like, I didn't really feel that connection, but you know, all the best kind of thing. And likewise, you know. And yeah, I like when they end like that, because it doesn't have to be completely soured. I am shitting on it a lot. But it just goes to show that some of these dates are an absolute, like, nightmare. It wasn't necessarily like a nightmare, but it was just like, you know, closed body language. She never took her jacket off. That was a big deal. You know, it's not like -20 here. You know, I'm in t-shirt and shorts right now. I mean, it's like 13, but I mean, still, you know. Yeah, it's not bad out today. But it was something like this. So, you know, you're in a restaurant, you're in a pub, you know. It's not cold. You can take a jacket off, you know. And it just goes to show, like, that I don't think she ever got comfortable. And I think that was maybe more her. Like, maybe she was more nervous and anxious than I had anticipated. But it's a big thing. You're meeting someone online. You have to be able to let loose a little. And that's why I go for a drink, because it takes the edge off. And I was like, you know, if you're not comfortable with that, that's perfectly fine. And I understand. But it was like, I'm looking at that stuff, right? Like, arms crossed. No questions, never asked a single question that I can remember. You know, there's just certain things like that you see and you hear, and you're like, right? Like, it's just like, I couldn't understand it. I couldn't even get a second date. There has to be a back and forth, right? There has to be banter. There has to be something. And it's like, there's no connection. Anyway, I'm sorry this video took so long to make. I think I kind of ranted a few times, and then of course I kept closing the video down, so then I'd have to like pick up where I left, and you know how that is. Anyway, we're gonna keep walking along here. We haven't seen a bird in like a fucking hour, but probably because I'm just ranting, they're hearing me, and they're like, ugh. All right, take it easy. We'll see you in the next one. You know what to do. Thanks for watching, you pencil pushers. If you guys want to check out my Instagram here, I've just got it in the background. It's Nick Daniels Photography with an underscore in between each word where I post every day. That's a lie. Thanks for watching. Peace.